Hello, people of the internet. I am American McGee.
Martin.
You are. You're always Martin.
Always and forever.
It is the second week of May, and I think we missed a stream last week. Why was that?
You ran away.
I ran away.
To Guilin.
Guilin, Yangshuo, Jima, and a bunch of other far-flung places out in western China. Had a beautiful time. I uploaded some videos, travel logs, and some glorious 4K drone footage.
In HD.
In HD.
Glorious HD.
Taken from that trip. So if you're curious about where I was when we missed the stream last week, well, that's where I was. We're coming back a little bit early this week because our good friend Omri Koresh is doing an auction for his current crowdfunding Indiegogo campaign around... How do you say the name of that book?
I would say Nueva.
Nueva.
But I'm probably very wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how to say it. But anyway, the auction's only going on for a few more days, and I promised him that I would come back and that we would do a stream early in the week in order to promote that before the auction ends. So, we are here.
You're nice like that.
We are here. We're going to talk a little bit about Omri's auction. We're also going to take a look at artwork and design concepts that have come in for Alice Asylum. I think we've got some... You've got some good updates on Out of the Woods.
Have we?
Did we show that stuff last time?
Well, we'll show it again.
Yeah. And then, you know, I'll play some Falling, Drowning, Dying Simulator 2000.
You fixed it.
I fixed what?
The saves.
Yeah, I fixed the saves. You mean, what, you're going to tell them that I deleted all the save games? That's not very nice, Martin. I thought you were my friend.
Just banter.
Ah, boy.
They're here for the bants.
Ah, boy. Well, let's just start off really quickly before we get into anything else with the reason why we started the stream early this week, and that is that Omri is running a campaign to support Nerva. All right, I'm gonna do a little aside here. I think there are some rules when it comes to product design and naming, and one of the ideas that we had, like when we were doing the artwork for Alice, and especially for character designs, was that if you would have it as a tattoo on your body, then you could say that that was probably a pretty good design for a character. If you saw a piece of character concept artwork and you said, yeah, I probably wouldn't have that as a tattoo. And I don't mean because it's like covered in penises and, you know, got like a vagina for a head, although some people like tattoos like that. I'm just saying that from a design perspective, if it passed the tattoo test, then you kind of had a sense that it might be a good design to put into the game. And I'm going to give Omri a bit of critique here. I think the same is true when it comes to naming your products. You probably want to try to make them pronounceable, at least somewhere in a zone where people see it and they can connect it with something that they know from before. This is very hard for me to say, but you know, that's maybe just me.
Maybe.
What do you think?
I don't know, I suppose there's something to it, isn't there? If you're trying to tell somebody about a project and you can't even say it.
It's a problem. It's a problem. But
yeah.
If you do go and look at the book itself, the content of it is beautiful. He's done an array of really titillating, scintillating, sexually charged and beautiful illustrations in the style that he's very famous for. If you look at like the image that's in the background of the page here, actually, it's that Hatter workshop image that he did. Excellent art, and he's filled up an entire book with that stuff. And in order to try to attract more attention to his crowdfunding campaign for the book, he has put up a small collection of Alice memorabilia, merchandise, and these are all things related to Madness Returns or to the original game, and they're going to come with signed certificates of authenticity from yours truly.
Signing a lot of stuff these days, aren't we?
Oh my god.
See,
that was a lot of signing yesterday.
See all that there? That's many certificates.
It's hard to get a sense of the scale.
That's like probably a quarter, maybe less.
So that stack behind Martin's head is these on edge like that. And that, how many is that?
Just over 1,200 there.
1,200.
It's not a third.
We still have how many more to do?
Probably 2.5,
1,000. Yeah. Anyway, we've been doing a lot of signing these days. How did we get onto that? Oh, right, because I'm going to sign these certificates. They're going to come with these things. So you could get an Alice figurine. You could get this piece of artwork. Actually, we have that. He sent one of those to me. It's behind Martin's head. Get your big head out of the way. So that's the actual piece of artwork that Omri did, and it's Alice with her family. I swear, he's being cheeky, and he kind of worked his own face into the face of the mom.
Right.
Do you think? I think so. Anyway, you could get one of these, and you could decide for yourself. That's also in the auction. I suppose there's only going to be 2 of those in the world. That one and the one that Omri gives away in the auction. So you'll know that the other one is sitting here in our studio.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, he has an Alice Asylum original art poster, and again, signed and all that kind of good stuff. Though this scrolling on the website is kind of busted. If you scroll down there, you can't actually scroll to the bottom.
Is there more than 3 things?
No, there's the 3 things, but the write me directly thing is covering up the last item.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this feels like more critique time. All right. Anyway, so that's Omri's campaign. If you are interested, then head over to omrikoresh.com, OMRIKORESH.com. And
Esh. Did you just say?
Yeah, Koresh. And there is an auction tab over there, and you could check out these items, and you could support his amazing artwork.
It is
Speaking
amazing.
of artwork, what have we got here?
Artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a continuation of a concept that Joey has been working on for Alice Asylum. And those of you who have tuned in previously know we were talking about modeling the landscape of Asylum off of a bunch of bits of land that have been blown up and are floating around in space and are in an orbit similar to like what you'd find inside of an atom, though for the physicists and molecular smarties out there, you'll know that things don't actually orbit that cleanly and look exactly like that, but you get the point. So she has turned around a cleaned up, very beautiful version of that idea.
It is lovely.
Yeah.
Has a paper cutout, almost Monty Python-esque vibe to it, I feel.
Well, and this is very similar to the style that we had in Madness Returns.
Mm.
We had the cutscenes in there that were done in this paper cutout style, and so I think she's sort of borrowing from that. And, you know, as we've said before, we're in the concept phase. Just because you see something on screen here now in this style does not mean it would be like this in the final game. But it's a nice kind of jumping off point for the ideas that we have.
So yeah, 2 years from now, we don't want comments like, I remember seeing a map that looked like a cutout. Where is it?
Exactly. I backed this specifically for the cutout paper style map, and now I'm angry. I want all my money back and take my name off all the credits everywhere. I refuse to be a part of this.
We don't want none of that.
No. So yeah, she's done up a nice piece of artwork here, and I think, as I said in the most recent Patreon update, we're probably about as far along with this concept as we're going to get visually, and I've asked her to now move on to basically taking this, you know, take a perspective inside of the world like this, and then show us what the islands floating out in space look like.
Right.
The kind of a vista from somewhere inside of the game.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, Blue Rose is saying, is that model based on her mental state? Well, one of the things that what we want to do here, we're working with the stages of grief, and I think in one of the previous updates and in one of the previous live streams, we described how in the traditional Kubler-Ross model there are 5 stages, but of course people have gone on to create expanded models in which you might find 7 or 8 or even 12 stages.
12?
Well, you know, when you go through that kind of grief, you find yourself bouncing back and forth between the stages, and you also find that there are things going on emotionally that can be difficult to ascribe to any one stage, or that you may go through some brief phase that's not normally described in the traditional grief cycle. It also depends on the kind of grief you're suffering. A person who's suffering PTSD as a result of themselves having committed some atrocious act, say like a soldier who generally sees himself as a good guy, ends up going off to war and does something that by his own internal standards is considered quite horrible. He may have a variation of the stages, triggers, and it'll be very unique to his own experience, whereas a person who's suffering the effects of, say, the discovery of an affair will have their own stages, and they may have very unique bits within the stages that, even compared to other people who are going through seemingly similar type of situation, may find that they don't experience the trauma in the same way.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're not having 12.
No, we're not going to have 12, but I think what we are going to do, that's a very long-winded way of saying that what I would like to do is align a certain number of stages of grief with a certain number of specific locations in Wonderland, which are themselves representative of those stages, occupied by characters who are essentially the voice for those stages. And then also, because we have now this sort of star map, we can go into the alchemy and the hero's journey aspect of the alchemical process from chaos to order, and also the hero's journey from challenge to overcoming obstacles to reward. And we can then layer all those things on top of each other and end up with a tapestry that when people dig into it, they're going to find all kinds of meaning that we may or may not have actually put in there.
Good.
Yeah.
It's nice to have deepness in there, get people talking, get people investigating.
Well, I think for sure, one of the things that you do when writing a narrative like this is you don't always... You can't imagine all the different possible ways in which a piece of art or a story will be interpreted. Actually, there's a book I'm reading right now, and the guy made the point that he'd built an art installation which required a computer controlling lights from different angles in order to create the effect of essentially messing with your mind about the position, perspective, and the color of the elements of the artwork. And he said that just prior to the whole art show going live, the computer died, and so all he had was a white background with some white squares floating in space in front of it and some basic light on all of that. And yet when the gallery opened up, people would come and stand in front of it and go, wow, well, I believe the squares hanging in the open space with the white light represent the contrast between the... And so they would go and expound, and he said it was incredible that, of course, the human mind will find meaning in literally everything, and what we want to try to do is to create all the little nooks and crannies in which people go into the game and are playing the game and they find meaning. Of course, we're going to have our basic skeleton of meaning, but
yes,
the more layers of depth we can put into it in terms of like the planets and the alchemy and the hero's journey and the grief cycle and all these things, the more people will find their own meaning inside of the game.
Have you seen those pictures like in art galleries where like somebody's just dropped a glove and people stand around and stare at it? A glove lonely in the middle of the floor, what could this mean?
Well, the most famous one I remember hearing about was the pile of garbage in a corner, and it was like in the London Museum or somewhere in France, and they had been doing remodeling, and so the construction workers had put a pile of garbage in a corner just outside one of the galleries. And so same thing, people were coming by and they're and they were having a kind of like, what is this? And of course some clever person decided, right, I'm going to stick a little panel up on the wall. Right. And so he paneled it, with a name and whatnot, and then the museum itself got confused as to whether or not it was garbage. So they left it there for quite a while until someone said, this isn't in our collection. We don't know what's going on. So, yeah.
Silly nonsense.
Yeah, well, right. Look, I was getting...
There's a lot of chats going on. We are looking at them. There's a lot of regulars here. We've got Greg... Jep, Derpy Horse is always here.
Elena.
Ina.
Yep.
Zelda.
But look, Ina likes my mug. What was it you were saying? We want to start selling unicorn mugs?
Yeah, found a really nice unicorn mug
right.
online.
We're gonna have to do that.
Yeah, looking at the chats, we'll pick them out if we see something awesome. So keep chatting.
Someone's joined us here.
Lulu,
are you chewing on your bone
don't
in a noisy
destroy
way?
the studio.
Please don't break the studio. Come here. Come here. Yeah, you can show everyone your bone. Yeah. What have you got there? Okay, we got a Lulu. You want to say hi? What have you got? Yeah, it's a bone. That's a good bone. You look like you're smoking a stogie or something. What's going on? Yeah, you say hi to everybody. Hello, it's a Lulu. Okay. All right. Where were we? We were doing our review.
Yes.
Lulu, don't sit there and chew that on the floor in here.
Yes,
Come
noisy.
on.
Stop it.
That's not necessary. No. She's looking at me like, what? The bone's got to be chewed, man. Okay, so
Bone's got a bone.
Bone's got a bone, and chew's got to choose. So this is the coin design that was done up by Alex. This is, for those of you following us on Patreon, you may know that we want to make coins a la... Do you have a Pirate Gem coin here? Oh, yeah.
Over there.
A la the Pirate Gem coins that we did. And these turned out really nice. They're super heavy. And so I got the idea that we could start producing coins for the Alice world, aka Chaos coins. Yeah. And that these coins would be something that if you are a patron... Oh, the skull's upside down. If you are a patron, you would get one of these things, and it would have the Chaos symbol on one side, and I think we were saying about the Cheshire Cat.
Cheshire Cat on the other side.
Anyway, so he's making progress on this. This was the original piece of artwork that he turned in. It features the heart with the Chaos symbol motif. Now, he just sent along this. Lens flare!
Chaos coin by J.J. Abrams.
The Chaos coin, the J.J. Abrams reboot.
However, there has been some comments about the complexity of this design, has there not?
Wait a second. Speaking of Star Trek, are you wearing a Picard shirt?
I am.
What? I don't understand this reference about there are 4 lights.
Greg Parubek saw my t-shirt and he probably gets it.
I take it a line from the new Star Trek Next Generation.
It was a Next Generation. Lulu, don't destroy the studio.
Hey, no, get out of there. Go on. What is it?
It's, I think it was a double episode where Picard got kidnapped.
Oh, and they were torturing him, and then he had to finally admit that there were 4 lights. Right, right. Oh,
there were 4 lights,
but he just kept saying it over and over. Okay.
They were saying, like, are you sure? Isn't there, like, 5 lights?
Right, Megas is saying it's called Room 101.
So, yes, it's my awesome Picard t-shirt. I made it. Not myself, but I got the picture online and I sent it to a Taobao merchant.
Wow. So, much like we're going to do with these coins. Okay, so this is the J.J. Abrams reboot of there are 4 lens flare lights, which is just... But
there are 3.
No, there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh.
There's 1 right here.
Oh, right.
1, 2, 3,
is that not 1?
4. That may even be the 5th one. Anyway, it's 1 too many already, even if it were just 1. So, we did ask a lot of people over on Patreon about this coin design, and I had mentioned in the Patreon post about this that my feeling is that it's too busy. Not just too busy, but mainly that the heart is overpowering the chaos. Now, there's probably a song or something in that, but that's not the point of this concept. Is to come up with the new next Celine Dion song. We did get comments back from everyone, and everyone seems to agree that it's a bit overpowering, and so we are going to ask that the heart kind of be either moved to the background or otherwise de-emphasized. Personally, as I said to Martin yesterday, I'd like to see the heart just removed because I feel like it's a chaos coin. It's not a chaos heart coin, but I don't know. You guys can tell us in the comments what you think.
Yeah. I'll keep an eye out on that. But, I mean, in terms of just a coin, I can imagine in my mind, if it was actually made like that and it had the intricacies, it would look amazing. But yeah, perhaps it's a little too much.
It's hard to say. I mean, we can always have these guys do a sample, but it's the sample, it's the mold and modeling and all that creation stuff that costs the most money in the process.
Yeah.
And so every time we have to have them go back and redo it, especially if they actually go to the stage of making a coin for us to figure out if it works or not. Like I said, for me, I think just keep it simple. Just strip the heart out. Make it a chaos coin. Done. Flip it over. We've got the Cheshire Cat face. This is one of my... So I feel like today is critique day. You all feel free to throw critiques at me just to balance out the universe. But this is, I think, one of our frequent critiques of Alex's art work and art style, is that he tends to make things incredibly complicated, and maybe to a degree that's sort of unnecessary. So... I don't know, that seemed to be kind of talked about a bit in the comments here on Patreon as well.
But that's why we're doing all of this stuff online. Get feedback.
Exactly. This is going to be the world's first fully fan-invested, fan co-created pile of stuff. So Ina says that she likes the world map. Yeah, and she's saying put the chaos symbol on top of the heart. That's fine. Yeah. I think that Kylie agrees with me that the heart detracts from the chaos. I agree. Astriel is saying the heart is overpowering, but I do like it. Maybe reverse it.
Sarah, simplify the design.
This is and this is a good question. The Astri visual is saying, any idea on what goal you'd like to set for these? We're currently at around 1,100 patrons, and I think we're probably going to want to set that goal at like 2,000?
It was 2,000 or 2,500.
Yeah.
It'll be something like that. It's got to be is it a good one or a big one or something? Yeah, I think 2.5.
The other thing is we're going to have to, because this is not a like trying to reach a certain dollar amount goal. This is a number of patrons goal. It does mean there's going to have to be significant marketing and raising of awareness on our part in order to make that goal happen. So,
yes, combined with the actual costs of, getting the factory to prototype and then make everything and shipping and stuff, it has to be a pretty big goal.
Yep.
To be,
exactly.
At least financially viable for us.
Exactly. Ina says less is more. Yes, I agree about this. So what are the other comments we've got here? The simplify the contrast, the design. Let's see. We've got art print. A lot of people want the map that was in this post as an art print, so we'll have to think about that.
I think it would be a good one.
Gregory, who's also in the chat, says it's good art as always.
Echo the sentiments. Yeah, push the heart behind the chaos.
And having some text. We will have text, but it's going to be, as you say here, Greg, the Salve et Coagula Latin. For me, I want to try to keep it simple. At the end of the day, I like things to be well done and simple. So, anyway, we'll see. Anthony, this might be a record for the shortest comment ever from Anthony. Maybe he's gone off the drink, or he's gone on to drugs.
He was so impressed by me sending him my God of War playing.
You broke his brain.
I broke his brain with my awesomeness.
So he likes the design of the coin. That's fine. The heart is more eye-catching, says Stephanie Lawden, but don't take it out. Well, all right.
We'll try to
figure
in the background.
Here's our good friend Evan Greenwood, who came along with us for Pirate Jam. And he says, I like the heart and the coin together and wrapped around each other. So he's saying, pull out some of the details of the chaos symbol, and that'll make the chaos symbol clearer. And I agree with that, actually. I'm having to left-hand drive the mouse now because the dog is, what are you doing? I agree. There are elements of the heart that are being, that are kind of on top of the elements of the chaos, and that make this problem kind of more severe than maybe it needs to be. So. Lulu, you're going to say hi there? What do you think about this coin heart problem? Do you think that the coin is going to taste good? Can you eat the coin? Maybe as a treat? What if we put lasers on the coin? Do you like lasers? I think lasers are pretty good. Yeah? What about toys? You like toys as well, huh? So if we made the coin into a laser toy, would you be interested in it? That seems like a yes.
I think so.
I think Lulu's vote is for the coin to have lasers and also to be some sort of a toy.
Remote control rolling along the floor laser coin.
All right, Lulu, we'll take your see what we can do into account. We'll see what we can do there. Are you a patron, by the way? We're not really supposed to be taking opinions from dogs if they're not patrons.
That's right.
She's like, I don't have a PayPal account. Screw off.
What did we get to?
Hawk
Owsley. Coins made of multiple types of metal. Add a second metal to the coin for colour and contrast.
Yeah, the factory doesn't do that.
Do they not?
No, they don't do that. Joey says if you tarnish behind the... Yeah, so this is the thing. You guys are talking about industrial processes that are going to greatly increase the cost of these coins or go beyond the capabilities of the factory. So no dual metal stuff, no tarnishing. It's just, they've got to be able to kind of produce the mold and kind of whack them out. It's,
Apparently, Greg is saying something that I've been ignoring. Going to keep mentioning pulling out the spokes from behind the chaos symbol.
But that's exactly what Evan said, and we agreed with that, Greg. So, yes.
The spokes from behind the chaos symbol. Those things with sort of like the little balls on the end?
Out the spokes, out from behind the chaos symbol. I don't know. Oh, he's saying pull. Maybe what he means is to remove these spokes.
Oh, right.
Greg, when you say pulling out, do you mean to remove, to get rid of those spokes? Because that would make sense. The other way you've written that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So, yeah. I think that's what he's saying. He's saying that there are these little spokes back here, and maybe those are making the thing overly busy.
Yeah, get rid.
Well, and again, this is our friendly critique of Alex's general approach to artwork, is that he puts lots of detail and lots of little stuff into stuff. Stuff into stuff. What's wrong?
So
you put too much stuff in the stuff.
Stuffception.
Stuffception.
That's what he says. Yep, remove them.
Okay. Well, we'll ask him to stop stuffing the stuff. Right. We got Callum Nightingale. Waiting for the patches. The map's coming together.
You mentioned the patches, didn't you, in this
It is.
post?
We get to that later. And so, yeah, seems to like the coin and echoes the same sentiments.
Susie likes the heart, but it's overpowering the chaos symbol. Halloween, is that the same Halloween? You live?
Yeah,
thing?
of course.
It is 45.
Yeah, for sure.
It's overshadowing the chaos symbol. Lady Lovecraft, loving the world map. Doesn't mind waiting for patches. Well, gonna have to.
Salah has to wait until after Ramadan to get the patches.
Oh no.
Oh no. But that's okay. They will arrive, and then you can patch them up.
We have a super chat.
All right.
Woo! From Naira K. 100 SEK. Don't know what SEK is. Sounds like a space currency.
No. That's a good question.
Hey McGee, I love your game, Alice Madness. I've played it on every difficulty. Can't wait for you guys to show it to EA. I will support you on Patreon for a long time. Love you guys.
Well, thank you very much for the 100 SEK. Apparently that's a Swedish krona.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yes, we also can't wait to...
And apparently 100 SEK is equivalent to $10 million. Wow, we're halfway to the making of the game now. Thank you so much, Naira. Okay. You need to team up with Omri on this. You guys can... Right. All right, before I put my foot in my mouth, I think it is time for us to do a contest.
Ooh.
What are you going to do, Martin?
I guess we go back to Omega necklaces.
Yeah, we could do
We
that.
don't have any more patches yet.
All right. Products. Where is it? Accessories? I don't know. Somewhere there. Anyway, we're going to give away... Don't we have one on the table here? Oh, no, we don't. Why don't we give away these Day of the Dead thingies? Nobody cared about those. All right, we'll give away an Omega necklace.
Okay.
So the way it works, you got to have said something in the chat in the last 5 minutes, or else you don't qualify. Nightbot won't see you.
Ooh.
And if you do win, then please make sure that you PM me your phone number, mailing address, email address, and mention the thing that you won, even though Martin will write that down.
Yeah.
For those cheaters out there who would claim to have won something. Actually, no one's ever done that. I'm kind of surprised. We'd be easy to fool, I think. No?
Maybe.
You think they would get something past us?
No.
I don't know. Lulu would catch it. She's usually on it. Okay.
Here we go.
I'm going to hit the button. 3, 2, 1. There you go.
Ooh.
Blade Siskedal.
It's I
Blade
assume
Siskedal.
Welsh.
Yeah, really?
Looks Welsh, that.
Well, anyway, congratulations, Blade. You won an Omega necklace. You need to send along your email address, phone number, mailing address, and the thing that you won. And you do that via a YouTube PM.
PM.
Yes.
Via YouTube.
All right. Back to, what were we doing? Art review?
Comments.
Comments and art review.
Yeah.
Oops. This is not the right page.
No.
There we go. Okay. Chris says, I'm unsure about the coin design. It could get a little busy. The lens flare. Well, I don't think the factory can do lens flare. We'll check and see. Alex would love that, though. He would have like a whole pocket full of lens flare. He would just
It would be nice to just like pull a coin out of your pocket that had lens flare on it.
That would be
quite
hilarious.
impressive.
Maybe that's a product. Like, just personal lens flare. Like, wherever you go, it just, you know.
In the future, I'm sure it will.
All right.
It will happen.
So, he'd like it to be more minimalistic. I agree. Less is more. Moving on. Eleni Drinkwater says, the heart is the first thing you see, and then you see the chaos later.
It's also good advice. Drink water.
This is a good idea. Should always drink more water. Lady Croft loves the coin design, looks fantastic, and screams, Amma!
Amma!
Amma! That's strange. Jin, I really like the coin's design.
McGee's Alice.
I know. I can see how the chaos gets a little lost. Okay. That's about it. I mean, you know, Luna's saying the same thing. Likes the chaos. The heart's cool. Gets lost. So, I think everyone's agreeing here. Designed by committee that... the chaos symbol itself is a bit lost in the design, so we will send along some feedback to Alex.
He may even already know. He sometimes watches, I think.
Secretly, silently.
He's in there. He's in the chat.
And he's sitting over behind his desk, little tear coming down his
lens
cheek with a
flare
lens
on it.
flare on it, going, they don't like the over complexity of my complexity, the stuff in my stuff. That is the stuff in my stuff. Right, so what's this?
That's for the factory.
Oh, this is for the factory. What's this, Martin? Did we show this off already?
Hard to say, I can't remember, but let's show it off again anyway. This is a mock-up of what the Out of the Woods Kickstarter game box that we did should look like. Alex took the art template that he's made and he actually wrapped it around an actual picture of the box to show what it should look like. And it should look like this, assuming the factory can do it justice.
They know you are here.
Ooh.
Run.
Ooh.
Get out of the woods.
So yeah, it's the insides. Imagine this looking all the red bits being foiled and UV varnished to catch the light. So yeah, imagine that.
No.
Lulu, what you doing? Stop destroying things.
Ooh. No.
So yeah, that's just the outside of the box, as you can see, mocked up to look like a book. The box full of cards.
You know, have we received any sort of sample on the cards themselves?
No.
What's going on there?
I assume it will come in the next prototype, which is going to have everything in it. It should be like... Is there like a special name for the final prototype that it should be as is?
Production sample.
No, that should be the next prototype then.
All right, great.
The production sample.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. I'm very excited for our very own card game.
Yeah, should be ace.
Someone in the chat says, wasn't there some talk of Out of the Woods mod for Tabletop Simulator? There was talk, and it does exist. So you can actually go over and play Out of the Woods in virtual goodness on Steam.
Yeah, I've not looked at
Tabletop
that in a
Simulator.
while.
Yeah.
Go and have a look. Marcus Raven. He did that for us.
Yep.
Yeah, just another angle. Looking
Turned out
good
really
there.
nice.
I hope it looks like that.
I do too.
Fingers crossed.
No lens flare?
Not on the box.
No. All right.
This one.
I see. Well,
Anything?
yeah, this is just the whole box layout with the
Unfolded.
blurb from Alex there. It's a Out of the Woods apparently is a lightning-paced cutthroat playing card game. See, I don't know about this. This presented by the legendarily macabre video game. Wouldn't that just be the legendary macabre? I don't know. Alex is always... Well, it's the same. He
flourishes.
It's the flourish in the language, the same as he flourishes in his art. So, yes.
A flourishy kind of guy.
And then we had this discussion about the ages, 15 and up. So my argument was that if you... I mean, I don't really think there's an age limit or requirement for the game, but if I went into a shop and I was a 12-year-old and I saw that something was, 16 and up, I'd like, ooh, that's for the cool kids, and I'd want it. Now, what have we done?
I looked up the age for Uno, which is 5 and up. So I just think we go with that. It's accurate.
Well, so then my argument was that we would then have those same kids going into a shop and going 5 and up. This is just for my little brother. I don't want anything to do with this. Pshaw! And then he'll go off and buy Grand Theft Auto, whatever, 15 or by the time the game comes out.
We have been super chatted.
Awesome.
Grey Jedi. It's a new name. Recognize that one. Hello, Grey Jedi. Do you know Art Piece will be the print for this month for higher level patrons? Also, great job. Enjoying the whole process behind Alice 3.
What is this month? This is always the problem.
We don't.
But last month was the Flamingo. Okay.
I haven't thought of one for this month.
People really seem to like that map, but
Should we do the map?
I don't know. You guys can
Grey
tell
Jedi,
us in the...
Do you like the map?
You guys can tell us in the comments if you think the map is this thing should be the... I don't... Personally, I think we've got better pieces of art that I would hang on a wall, but then
we could go back and do the... who was it that did like Baby Jabberwock and... Was that Sunny?
Sunny.
We didn't do any of Sunny's art yet, did we?
I don't know.
No.
But yeah, I mean, that would be the kind of thing, like, if you guys go back through the existing art on the Patreon, if you find something you like, or if you decide you want this map, just let us know in the comments or over on Patreon, and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still plenty of time to decide.
There you go. But Grey Jedi, thank you for the super chat. We will use your $4.99 to buy a glass of wine.
Yeah.
A glass of wine. Okay. Good. Well, I think that brings us to the end of art review.
Yeah.
And that then means that we can go on to... I'm really dreading this. You know why?
I don't remember where you left off.
I do. I left off with that stupid centipede. And
the Nazi helmet
centipede,
on.
Exactly. And I just... really not looking forward to messing around with him. But while I'm doing this, maybe you want to do the on your phone jigger, any other comments on the... Because there was a post before this as well.
Let me fire that bad boy up.
And we don't want to, ignore our comments. That would be unkind. Now, why are you guys chasing me? I just, now, we figured out last time that my major mistake was that I'm supposed to wait for him to expose his soft, that star, the soft underbelly.
He doesn't lift up for very long, does he?
No, but then that's sort of the, the model of these types of challenges.
The Mavic Pro post or the one before that?
I guess you could talk about the Mavic Pro post.
Okay.
I did make that available on YouTube this morning. For those of you who are interested in what the countryside of China looks like in glorious 4K from 1,000 feet up in the air.
Did you? It says patrons only.
No, look, Martin. No, that's not my meaning. I unlocked it on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube
is not Patreon.
Is it not?
Nope, it's not.
Okay.
So, yeah, you'll want to go to YouTube and to my YouTube channel, and I have unlocked the 4K drones flying over China video.
It is beautiful stuff.
This is just incredibly annoying. It's the combination of sort of, you running out of stuff to attack these guys with. They're jumping on your back. I'm sure everybody in the comments is like, dude, you suck. But we already knew that.
Well, let's have a look. Kill him by throwing the blade at his weak spot. You can also hide a bit.
Oh, I can hide down here. I suppose that's what I'm being told.
Yeah.
Oh, look, the little creepy crawlies don't seem to be able to get down here. All right, well, maybe this is the strategy. Just hide in a hole.
Did you already drink the hidden tea for the power boost?
I thought we may have done that already, yeah.
Use the ice weapon?
I didn't get the ice weapon.
you decided not to.
It's not that I decided not to. It's just that I missed it. We ran past it somehow.
Yeah, so everybody stop suggesting ice wand.
Yeah, the ice wand is not going to happen. That's a very short window in which to throw the knife at him.
Prince Hatter super chats us. Thank you very much. If the card game does well, will you have plans for a Series 2 with new Fairies Tales?
Yes.
Make Dark and Twisted. Also use the ice wand on the centipede.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Yeah, we have contemplated Out of the Woods 2 with 10 more tales. We've also pondered possibly making it like a board game.
Making it more complex. With little
pieces and the board and other stuff and fluff.
That's right, stuff and fluff.
Yeah.
And that's also a part of the stuff and stuff strategy that Martin and I have recently invented.
Yeah.
We feel that the key to success in life is stuff and stuff.
If you want to learn more about stuff and stuff,
go to
you can buy the book on Amazon.
Eric and Martin present Stuff and Stuff.
Stuff and Stuff.
The secret to stuff and stuff.
But yes, Out of the Woods 2 is a very real possible thing. So, but not yet. It would be a while.
Yeah, we got to start work on that pretty soon, though. Once the physical goods go out for the Out of the Woods, we then are in a place to say, look, this got done. We didn't flub it. we actually finished the thing that we said we were going to finish. This is just literally... Huh?
Derpy Horse says Ice Wand was right in front of you. Is it still here somewhere?
No. It was right in front of me. He means like...
Back then.
Back then. I just derpishly ran away from it.
Use the Jack-in-the-Box alternative attack and try throwing the Vorpal Blade.
I am throwing the Vorpal Blade.
Are you?
What do you think I'm doing?
No, throwing cards?
Well, I was doing that too.
And don't be stuck on here all stream.
Well, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm already sensing that that's exactly what this is going to be about today. Because it's not terribly easy to... I'm curious, though, for the people that are in the chat and watching this sad display, was this a boss that you found difficult to get past, or is this just me?
I don't know if it's American that's rubbish or...
Well, we already know I'm rubbish. I didn't ask them that. I asked, did they find this difficult to get past? Not is American rubbish. That's already...
That's a given.
That's a given. It's a given, like Stuff and Stuff. But, yeah, I kind of feel like, for one thing, if it was necessary that I carry around a, what is it we're trying to say? The Ice Wand in order to complete this, then I feel like the game... Oh, look, she's having flashbacks to that night the house was on fire. She's all like in a rave, having a good time there. I feel like the game should not have allowed me to get away from that zone without picking up that necessary weapon.
It's probably not necessary.
But clearly everyone keeps screaming about it.
Well,
so I mean, if...
It makes it easier for sure, but you must be able to kill him without it.
Well, it seems that's dubious.
You get in there.
I'm getting covered in centipede lice.
Yum yum. Some people said yes, this was very difficult. And some people said it wasn't because they had the ice wand.
Yeah, of course, the ice wand. The ice wand! Why don't you have the ice wand? Even Lulu's coming here and sniffing the side of my leg and asking me why I don't have the ice wand.
Lulu,
Even the dog.
go get the ice wand.
Where's the ice wand, Lulu? Get it. Find the ice wand.
Get these comments for the drone footage, finally. So yes, the drone footage for Guilin is available on YouTube. Check it out. It's gorgeous. Austin Cook has always wanted to visit the Forbidden City. It seems so mysterious and beautiful and peaceful there. It's not.
No,
It's not peaceful
it's not,
at all.
No, and it's barely beautiful. Certainly, the beauty of the place does not outweigh. How would you describe it, Martin? Crowded. That is a way to describe it. As are many places in China, but for sure, the Forbidden City is one of those places that basically every Chinese person feels it's necessary to go there, before they die, and that includes because right next to the Forbidden City is Tiananmen Square, which most Chinese people don't actually know. Like what happened there with the tank and the guy and the stuff. But because Mao is kept at Tiananmen Square, that's where his tomb is, and you can actually do a viewing of Mao on ice. Did you know that?
Did not know that. I don't think I saw Mao while I
Well,
was there.
they limit the access that foreigners have. So there are times where you could go. I think during the Olympics they opened it up to foreigners.
Right.
But I think in the time since the Olympics they've closed it off again. So you have to be a Chinese national in order to go to Mao's tomb. Yeah, I mean that's right across the street at Tiananmen Square. Come on, get up there. Stop messing around.
And what's the big hill behind the Forbidden City? What's that hill called?
There's that Beihai, which is the big lake there. Lake.
You can go pedaling.
Yeah.
In Beihai Park.
But obviously, per that suggestion, I've traveled there before. Even Martin's traveled there before.
Beijing was my first visit to China.
Wow.
So actually, if you're not used to China, it is an experience for sure. I mean, it's like when you first get here, it's like, wow, look, China's mental. Look at everything. It's crazy.
Sorry, not to interrupt, but I think I actually, for once, did damage to him. I think that was the first time I ever saw him take damage. Was that? So maybe this is the strategy: stand down here in the hole and chuck the Jack-in-the-Box up there. Watch. Come on, get some damage. Oh, did you see that?
Wow.
That was damage.
So you could...
I'm just going to sit down here and spam this box at him until he's dead.
Go for it.
Unless, of course, I set myself on fire. Brilliant strategy! Run away! Anyway, so for suggestions... Actually, the reason we're bringing this up is because I asked in that post, where might the next travel be to? And that was why the Forbidden City was brought up, right? Right. So, Ludo, why are you licking my leg?
But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting place for sure, but peaceful? No.
Not peaceful.
No.
No, not peaceful at all.
Ina says, go and look at the Terracotta Army. But you already replied to that, saying apparently it's not great.
I've also heard that the Terracotta Army is a bit rubbish.
You've seen one terracotta guy, you've seen them all.
That was my exact response.
Yeah.
Yes. So what I've heard about the Terracotta Army is that it's in a relatively small space. They've only got about one room open to the public where you can go in and see the Terracotta Warriors, and that the whole setup for it just feels quite underwhelming. It's sort of cheap. It's like just this sort of...
Is it touristy?
No, it's not. Well, it is touristy by China standards of like 20 years ago. Is how I understood it to be. So I don't think I really want... But I did say that Yen and I are planning travel for her birthday, which is at the end of this month, and that we may end up going out to Chengdu and Sichuan anyway, as a part of that. So, because she wants to go and see that stuff. So, yeah.
Ooh, a super chat from Lucas Severin.
Thanks, Lucas.
How far away are you from the finance goal?
Of?
I assume Alice 3.
I don't know if that's the... Is that really the question?
There's some Japanese text after it.
I would get some clarity on that, because that doesn't... I'm not really
Lucas,
sure.
are you talking about Alice 3 or like something on Patreon or... So I'll have to keep an eye out.
Or buying a big box of stuff and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things that we could have finance goals for, so...
I'll keep an eye out for Lucas's... Oh, there he says Alice 3.
Okay, well...
I suppose technically we're infinitely far away from the goal.
Yeah, it's...
At the moment.
It's quite far off. I would have thought... Because doesn't Lucas kind of follow us?
Yeah, it seems an odd question.
I thought he's like a supporter and a follower. But yeah, Lucas, I mean, the whole point of what we're doing right now is to put together this presentation, which is going to go in front of EA, which is going to describe to them the scope and scale of our proposed use of the Alice license to make a new game and a line of merchandise and all that kind of good stuff. And then we're going to go and secure financing, which would either be perhaps crowdfunding, or it could be publisher plus crowdfunding, or it could be some other kind of hybrid model. I mean, people have even come to us and suggested that we should do an ICO, which is an initial offering of a cryptocurrency. I don't know that I have any strong feelings about that idea, but it's been suggested. But as, oh man, I almost, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save. I almost fell off the side of the cliff there. That would have been a really glorious way to end the last 20 minutes of struggle, is by falling off a cliff. But yeah, as Martin said...
Those who say there's nothing
what?
like
Oh, I found something!
Somebody here just said there's a grasshopper potion down in the ditch.
Well, look how fast I am now. This is completely useless. This doesn't help me at all. I wonder if you can be a burning... Oh, Jesus. Jeez, Rick. I wonder if you can be a burning grasshopper.
Sure.
You think so? I don't know about that.
Sure, that was programmed in.
I don't know. That didn't really do much, though. It's sort of finished.
So, to
anyway,
summarize,
no.
Not yet, because there are stages. Prepare the groundwork, make the PowerPoint, present to EA, get the thumbs up, go and get financing in some method.
Yeah, and we've already got potential financiers who are themselves kind of like, EA-like big media companies who want content for their platforms, and who have also said to us that, yeah, we would be interested in this. We'll give you all the money you need to make this happen. So, there's a lot of interest out there in what we're doing already. So you could say in that respect, we've already had some people come back and say, yeah, we'll give you the money to make this happen. So maybe we're not infinitely far away. But until these things are finished, then let's just say we're infinitely far away. One of the things that's important to keep in mind is that in order for us to go and be successful in convincing potential financiers to get behind this, is to show them that there's an audience out there willing to purchase the product, because that's the only math that they care about. Right, we're going to give you $20 million to make a game, and based on normal sort of game sale recoup models, you need to sell 1 million of these with a $20 profit. And okay, do you have an audience of 1 million out there willing to spend? And then you got to take the production costs and all the marketing costs and everything and factor that in. But do you have 1 million people willing to spend $50 per download, say, of a standalone game? Yes or no? And if the answer is maybe, or we can't prove that, but maybe, then they're not really going to be very interested. But if we can say to them, look, we have this mailing list that's got 1 million names on it, or we've got 1 million people that have shown interest in some other fashion, then it makes that whole proposition much easier.
Yep. So somebody comment is Akanova. Aren't you nervous to talk about the project to EA? They don't have the best reputation. They came to you.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was a way we could try to get people off of this. I know there's a kind of cognitive dissonance that happens when people think about that when they hear EA, there's a certain amount of expectations and stories that they've heard and games that they loved that somehow got raped and pillaged by EA. I understand that, but on some level, I think people need to reframe their expectations, their understandings of what EA means in this context. And I think the first thing to start with is, like Martin said, they came to us and said, look, this license is just sitting here, we're willing to give this to you, but we need to have a decent presentation as to what it is you intend to do with it. And so here we are.
Which is what's happening now.
Exactly.
Got, Patreon on the go, which allows art creation and streams where we talk to you guys and can show EA how many people are supporting the project, and it's all build up. It's all build up.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't feel nervous about talking to EA. I don't consider EA to be sort of bad guys, as it seems that a lot of the internet does. Simply because I view the individual things that have gone poorly for EA in terms of marketing and PR, I think need to be viewed in context of EA not being a homogenous, single thinking, know-all entity that sort of breeds and lives being evil. The reality is that a lot of products come out from EA that people are just fine with, and a lot of decisions are made by EA that people are just fine with, but it's when a particular decision is made, and sometimes they do make really dumb decisions, but you get a very vocal audience of people who hate the decision that was made. It then turns into, well, they're the worst company, and that's one of the things I really love, that like EA has been voted the worst company in the world some years running, and you have to ask yourself, are they really the worst company in the United States, or is it that the people who are their customers are the most online connected and potentially vocal customers that a company could have, and that when EA does anything wrong, they're going to wield the power they have as a customer base with hands on those kinds of controls to make it really hurt for EA. And I don't think that, like, by measure of actual human suffering and deaths caused, wouldn't like Halliburton or Lockheed or anybody who makes bombs and missiles that actually kill people, maybe a gun manufacturer if you're not a gun advocate. I mean, there are a lot of companies out there that do truly evil stuff, and EA just makes games.
We have a super chat that's about to scroll off, so let's get to that. Entrance Jew, thank you very much.
Thank you, Entrance Jew.
Is finally in a position to be a patron.
Woo!
Love the work, keep it up. Just got my games on Steam. I assume the Alice games. China seems to like it more than I expected. Heart China.
I don't understand that.
China seems to like it more than I expected.
He likes China more than he expected.
China seems to like it more. I guess, maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
you could clarify that, Entrance Jew. We're not really sure what you think China seems to like more than you expected. But China likes a lot, though.
I saw a message from Magus, I'm going to get crap for that. The problem is, when somebody tells you that you've pronounced their name wrong, all you can remember is that you've pronounced their name wrong, and you don't remember the right way to say it.
I know.
So I just keep apologizing. But he said, you should make a video explaining your stance on EA so people just get it. However, this is just, it's not a problem with people or being online and such. It's impossible to get a point out to all the people. We spend a reasonable amount of money on advertising. Alice 3.
Yeah,
and
we do.
Every week we'll still see comments on Facebook.
Oh my god, I didn't know you were doing this!
Is this a thing? I didn't know about this!
Why didn't somebody tell me this?
You can't reach everyone.
Well, and then also, when they pop up and say, oh my god, is this a thing? Why didn't somebody tell me this? The next comment is, oh, but fuck EA! And it's like, Jesus, come on, guys. Anyway. This topic, it actually, it's one where recently, I don't know, I think I've mentioned, if some of you follow me on like Twitter and Facebook, you'll know that recently I posted something about a guy named Scott Adams, who is the creator of Dilbert. He is also a trained hypnotist and a person who followed during the last election the style of influence that Donald Trump exerted over the American populace, and was one of the first people to predict that Trump was going to win. I like to follow Scott Adams because he says a lot of really smart things about people's perceptions, about marketing, about how to solve or not these problems of people being convinced of a certain viewpoint and unwilling to change. And if you go read some of his books, like he's got one that was, well, he recommends these books on influence, but he talks about framing, and he talks about why people constantly get things wrong, and how hard it is to have a conversation with somebody who's already decided that, say, EA is the bad guy. No matter how much information you give them counter to that point, they will continue to come back to, so what you're saying is EA is the bad guy. And anyway, his views on all of this cognitive issues are really, really interesting. If you guys are at all interested in sort of that from a marketing perspective or from just a conversational perspective, I highly recommend his books. And, you know, don't get all bothered about his politics, because he's portrayed as being alt-right, pro-Trump, but the reality is he's incredibly progressive liberal who believes in stuff on the political spectrum, you know, closer to like Gandhi than anywhere else. But of course, that's not how he's portrayed in media. And nor am I, it turns out. I've found that on places like Kotaku and NeoGAF, I have been called a neo-Nazi because I support... Oh no! Oh, what? I'm talking about neo-Nazis and I died. But yeah, because
leave it there. Look, it's competition time.
Oh man, I don't really think I'm making any progress. It's been a half hour of chasing that thing around.
Ina had, is it a good idea? A YouTube video titled "American McGee on EA." Should be like quite clickbaity and might get a lot of.
I'm just
people
worried
viewing
that if
it.
EA sees that, and if it's something, I don't know.
It's a dangerous game.
It's a dangerous game because, you know, EA could come out and say, we're not asking for you to defend us. You're sort of, you know, the argument could be you're further cementing the ideas that we're evil by trying to counter the idea that we're evil. And plus, there's a lot of people out there who really hate EA and who will say, well, I'm not going to support your game now because you too vocally, you know, voiced your support of EA. Even though the way I view it is it's not about support of EA, it's just being rational about the fact that big companies sometimes make products and they make decisions that people don't like, and it doesn't mean that the corporation as a whole is evil. But anyway, let's give away an Omega necklace.
Woo! On the chat.
Here we are looking at Nightbot. In order to be eligible, you do need to have said something in the chat in the last 5 minutes, so we will give you just a moment to blah 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 in the chat, and then we will give away a lovely. Is it an Omega necklace you want to do?
Yeah, that's what we normally do.
Yeah.
Well, we have a super chat though from Truth Decay. Is your mailing list growing?
Yes.
Slowly.
It's at 35,000 people as of this morning, so it is growing. It usually adds around 50 or 60 new names per day on a good week or a good day.
We should probably do something about that. It's been a while since we've properly targeted that on Facebook.
So while we're waiting for them to spam the chat, what I wanted to say was, you and I, today, we ought to go and fix up this page. Because this is the main landing page.
AmericanMcGee.com.
Yes.
Go there.
So this is the main landing page, and if you were being told to do something to support what we're working on, this is the first thing you might see. And this actually, you know, because it says September 2017, I think there's a bit of datedness going on here, and we don't have the latest art up. So I was thinking we ought to re-art this, and we could kind of update some of this, maybe embed a video of us talking about what we're doing here. I don't know. And if you guys in the chats have any suggestions on how to make this page stickier or better or convert more people to signing up for the mailing list, which is right here, that would be cool.
Yeah.
All right, back to the contest. We're going to give away...
We'll come back to that page a bit later.
We're giving away an Omega necklace. It
Roll
looks like
it.
that, and we've got a bunch of people eligible for winning. And 3, 2, 1. There you go, Gabriella.
Gabriella. Who is that? Is that Lara Croft?
It looks like Lara Croft.
Gabriella, you are a winner.
You are a winner.
Imagine that. But you didn't imagine that, did you?
What's Gabriella got to do to win?
Gabriella.
She's got to
PM.
go to the
PM American McGee on his YouTube channel. It's apparently quite easy when you look. And say, I won! Here is my mailing, well, my actual physical mailing address, my email address, phone number, because the postman likes that.
Yeah, phone number is critical because if it arrives and gets stuck in customs or whatever, if you have not provided your phone number, then they can't call you and tell you that it's stuck in customs.
So there you go.
Things do sometimes get stuck in customs. It happens.
Are you going for the ice wand?
It's right there.
Get it!
It's fucking right there, and then I'll, forevermore.
Oh my god! It's
people
Gabriella's birthday!
Oh my god! It's your birthday! Happy birthday! Don't fall! Don't! No! Oh boy! Oh, jeez, Rick, this is
a thin path.
It's horrible. Who designed this again? I just don't get the person. It's like a cruel and vicious person who made this stuff you've got to work your way through. Yes. But I do now have the ice wand. You all can be quiet about that now.
So you're going to kill the centipede in like a minute.
If that doesn't kill him in 2 seconds, I'm going to be really put off.
It's 4 a.m. where Gabriella is. So
wow.
Probably in Europe somewhere?
I have no idea.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. PM American with your deets. And you will get a Omega necklace.
And happy birthday.
Yeah.
Oh no! Is this the best way to get out of here? Oh no!
Here's some more comments about the video.
Oh yeah, but that's the other thing. The whole thing was to get you to give us ideas about where to travel to next. What was it we were talking about yesterday? You're going to have to travel to where, Martin?
Shenzhen?
Yeah. Why do you need to go to Shenzhen, Martin?
Something to do with Out of the Woods.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you want to go to a factory?
But do you want to tell the people about Martin and traveling?
I don't like it.
Which
is weird, considering that I'm in China.
You are in China.
So I travelled halfway around the world to get here.
And now...
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of like travel anxieties.
Well, but it's I mean, you're kind of making light of it, but I know you as a friend, and I know that it's what the fuck just happened? Are you kidding me? Did I just get a thing just in my... Did you see that?
I didn't see the thing.
That was a spawn spot. Which, as gaming design rules go, spawn spots ought to be safe havens.
Right.
And that spawn spot dropped an icy nail onto my head, from what I could see there. That was complete bullshit. You know what? I'm going to go online. I'm going to write a terrible review about this game. I'm going to let them know.
Contact EA's customer support.
I'm going to call them.
Give them what for.
I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm going to save right here. Oh, it wasn't the thingy. It was the ball that ran me over while I was chatting with you. Okay. All right, so...
Watch out for balls.
So there was a bit of foreshadowing there. There was a ball. Come on, move, lady! Do the thing! Don't stop there! Ah!
What was that?
I don't know! Oh, man, I really
geez.
I gotta set up a new save point. This is annoying as hell. Okay, so what are we talking about here? We're talking about your travel anxiety, and you're making light of it, but I was trying to say that as your friend, I know this to not be a minor thing. Right?
Yes.
So my thought was, we've got to go down to Shenzhen, which is about, what is it? It's a 1.5 hour, 2 hour flight from Shanghai to Shenzhen. Shenzhen is just on the border with mainland China and Hong Kong. It's the southern furthest point in China on the east coast, and so it doesn't take very long to get down there on a plane. But I'd like you to go with me because we're going down there to visit the guys who are going to send out of the woods in terms of fulfillment. Like, they have to pick, pack, and ship all the card games, the illustrated books, and the coloring books. And I'd like you to be there because you're smart about all this stuff. But you've got very severe travel anxiety.
See, the weird thing is, I don't mind flying. It's not that bit. You know, I will happily sit down in an aluminium tube flying at 500 mile an hour, 35,000 feet in the air, and not bat an eyelid. It's the bits either side of that. You know, I don't like getting stuck in like traffic jams up on highways, or being on like subways or stuff. It's that bit I'm not a fan of. So, go figure.
But I think, we've talked about this over wine before, I have my anxieties, and they attack me, well, you see, they attack me quite often. You've got your anxieties, I've seen them attack you quite often. We both need to find a way to short-circuit this stuff. And I believe that going out into the world and having sort of travel adventures is one way to do that. Definitely to expand your horizons and to push yourself, you know, into the chaos and beyond your limits, and to prove to yourself that you can do those things is part of the cure, part of the solution. So I'm hopeful that you'll come along, and then we will...
It is just a case of practice. I do find that when I get out of practice with things, you feel nervous about getting back into it.
But I also think that having you go along and then we record everything and we present it here could be of interest to the people out there who are also suffering from anxiety.
That's a good comment.
Disable the subtitles.
Yeah, and then the thing might actually show.
Is that an option, to disable the subtitles?
Virgil Hiltz seems to think so.
Okay, let's see. Audio. In the neck? No. In the brain. It's basically the last one that I selected.
Okay.
As those things usually.
A nibble from the mushroom of life.
It might not
that
work.
Doesn't look good.
It might not work for this one
Look what
because
it
you were
did.
in the middle, but it might work for the next one.
It did something pretty busted there.
So here's some people here have anxieties with massive suspension bridges. Can you imagine that?
Well, I think that you've got people in that audience there who will support you. You'll know that you're on camera when we go off and we do this, right? You'll have the sense that
Not alone.
that you're not alone. But that's a meaningful thing, though. I hate these mushrooms. He's not awake yet, so he doesn't care that he's being roasted, but that smells good. I really like barbecued mushroom. It's really yummy.
Liliana Ortiz super chats us. Thank you very much. I know it's out of nowhere, but ever since you mentioned a movie being made, would you consider Laika, the same Alice but in stop motion?
What's that mean?
Would you consider Laika? Is that a way of making movies? Is that an actress? Let us know, Liliana. Can you expand on that a bit more?
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
I will keep an eye out for your
maybe that's some sort
reply.
of process for.
And Rune the Mighty also super chats while we're waiting for Liliana's reply. Spent all weekend. Thank you, Rune the Mighty. Spent all weekend watching the past live streams to try to catch up. 12 hours of it this weekend.
Oh my god!
That's a lot of
Was
McGee
that at
and
all,
Martin.
Was that interesting at all? I mean, I feel like I would get bored of us.
Will we see more of Dormouse and March Hare?
Oh, for sure. I think that we've already got some hints of that in the Hatter images that we did, and that have been shared on Patreon, and shared in the live streams as well. But yeah, I mean, they were already shown to be in the workshop, in Hatter's workshop, and so I think that we should expect to see more of them.
Laika is a film production company that does the stop motion stuff. Apparently they made Coraline.
Ah, I see.
Really like that movie.
Okay, so then is the question, would we consider them as the people who make the game, or the film?
Film.
I see. Yeah, the thing is, when we've had these this has kind of come up before, it doesn't really work like that. Like, they would have to come to us and say, we want to do this, because obviously they would be in extremely high demand. And they would want to know that we have financing in place and that the whole thing makes sense. So I guess the answer would be, yeah, hey, we'd love to have them doing it. I mean, I'd love to have Steven Spielberg. I would consider Steven Spielberg doing the movie, you know. But the thing is, it's like these types of deals have to come as packages to these producers and directors and studios, and you know, you don't just sort of say, oh, hey, I'd love to have, you know, this person do it, and then it just works. You have to package the whole thing up, and it usually goes through agents and lawyers, and so.
Plus, there already is an Alice stop motion.
Well,
Kind
stuff
of.
we've done, and then there's also the young. Was the Svankmajer one stop motion? I can't remember that.
Is he a Ghostbuster? Svankmajer?
No, there's a. But anyway, yeah. If the question is more like, would we consider doing the movie as a stop motion? Sure, but again, this all depends on. So, for instance, we've found people here in China who are interested. Look, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Turn it off.
The subtitles fix.
No.
We tried.
We have found people here in China who want to make the Alice movie happen. And being a Chinese production company, they want to find Chinese financing, a Chinese director. It's probably not something where they're going to come back and say, yeah, we also want to do this as stop motion. They would come as a package. So, you know.
Alec, Jenry McLaughlin super chats. Isn't that Lewis Carroll in the settings menu? Wasn't Lewis excluded from your lore?
Yes, this was brought up by people who were saying that I was wrong about my own game for not knowing that. Because I've said before, I don't believe that this universe includes Lewis Carroll in any way. And people have said, but he's in the settings menu. So, okay, yeah, you got me. Sorry about that.
Was that snuck in by someone?
It may have been. I can't say for sure. So I guess this is still the issue of you need to hit him in his what's-he spot.
He didn't like that.
Did he not like that?
He looked a bit upset with that.
I see. Maybe I'll go grab that grasshopper tea stuff that everybody keeps yelling about. You guys get lost. Oh, man. What are these face huggers got to mess with me like this for? Anyway, look, at the end of the day, the universe and the story within this game and her story, not supposed to include Lewis Carroll. I don't feel that he's a critical and important element to the story we're telling, and I also am not a big fan of the whole concept that he was some sort of like, you know, lech that was messing around with Alice or sisters or whatever sexually. That's never supposed to be a part of the story we're telling here. The fact that he shows up in the settings menu, oops, I don't really know what else to say. It was, you know, not possible to control every single facet of the game, nor to make things 100% consistent given the timing and the budget and all the other stuff that we had going on. So, stuff and stuff.
Empty it on his belly when he stands up.
Well, I'm doing that.
Then back and forth to refill health/magic.
Yeah,
I'll give that a go.
I'm pretty sure I got that. That part makes total sense to me. Look, well, he does do a sort of pre-standing up, lighting up. You know, so he is giving off a bit of an indicator that he's about to stand up. It's not that. The issue is these.
Take that.
The issue is the little insects running around.
Can you not kill them with the ice wand?
Yeah, but then I'm wasting all my mana.
Okay.
Right. So it's a sort of.
I was just gonna say, going back to the pro drone footage comments. There's still a few more to go.
Yeah. So where should we go in China? That's the main question. And next time we do travel somewhere, I'm going to try to drag Martin along, and then we can have a whole video series about travel and anxiety. And
I want to go to Sanya for my birthday.
I know you do.
Anthony Morvan says the Hakka walled villages would be a fun place to fly your drone.
That I need to look up and know where that is exactly, because it's not. When he said that, I don't know Hakka. I'd never heard this before. In all these years of living in China, I'd never heard of the Hakka wall villages. Have you?
Plus, I have not. It doesn't sound very Chinese.
No, it sounds Japanese. If anything.
But yeah, also...
Oh, look at that!
Oh my god, it's so easy with the ice
Oh,
wand!
man! Oh, jeez, Rick. Maybe I just... Yeah, I should have just gone and got the ice wand.
Yeah, listen to them in
big
future
dummy.
when they say, get the ice wand.
Well, I did go back and get it.
Eventually.
I mean, you know, give me some credit. I'm retarded, but I'm not 198. I'm not 50% retarded. Whatever. Stuff.
Right, yeah. In terms of flying a drone, though, it's not always guaranteed that you're allowed, is it?
No, it's got a geofencing, and so, for instance, when we went to Shangri-La, which is in Yunnan province, and there were a lot of places there that I wanted to fly it, and I couldn't. The Mavic and most of the modern drones that have GPS integrated within them, it'll pop up and tell you that you're in a no-fly zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, there's good reason for that, but when you're in a place like Shangri-La and you're out on this massive grass plains where there's absolutely nothing around you to which you could crash into or aircraft you could interfere with. I mean, you're talking about like grass plains and mountains for as far as the eye can see. And then it pops up, and it's like, it's not safe to fly here. Like, what are you talking about? There's nothing here. But yeah, that does happen sometimes, that you cannot fly because they put a geofence around a particular location.
Save.
I'm saving.
Dimensions of this desolate tract.
I have been saving, boy.
Only one path will bring you to
Look at that amazing facial animation.
His lip syncing. It's second to none.
Ah, it's incredible. Oh, look, these little demon guys. I remember them. Wow, it's been such a long time since I played this.
Like Doom.
Well, this was sort of me being silly, wanting to have a lava level in the game, because I'm a really big fan of lava. So,
David Dixon super chats us. Thank you. Everyone seems to forget all the excellent things EA has done, like pump millions of dollars into game productions at universities. I assume Po Body's Nerfect.
No, Po Body is Nerfect.
Po Body is Nerfect.
Yeah.
Did they do that? I mean, do they have like some university
of course.
scholarship
I mean, you
program
go down
thing?
to Los Angeles and you check out what they're doing. I think that's UCLA, where they've got a really... And speaking of Steven Spielberg, it's in collaboration with Steven Spielberg. I went to the opening of it. It's the Games Media Lab or something like that down there. It's like film production and Games Media Lab or something like that. And... yeah, I mean, they put tons and tons of money into... oh, you guys are really annoying. Come on, get lost. Go on, lava creature. But yeah, they put tons and tons of money into education and helping students become game makers, which makes sense. I mean, you know, you could say that in some ways that's a little self-serving, because it is in their interest to, you know, seed the industry with potential geniuses, and to have those geniuses be somewhat beholden to their brand and whatnot. But anyway, all companies do this.
Cool.
But yeah, EA has done a lot of good stuff, and I think that the rap that they get, again, I think it's a bit artificial, just because the nature of their customer is so connected and so vocal. Again, does it really make sense that EA is somehow the worst company in the United States? What about the guys who, you know, pollute the environment? You know, what about the meat industry? And you go and drive through California and you see entire massive wastelands of beef production, and you know, those companies are then passing laws that violate the First Amendment and make it impossible for anybody to critique them. If you critique the beef industry, you are also liable to counterterrorism laws. So
you just critiqued them.
Well, but this is exactly the thing. It's like, if you wanted to talk about companies doing truly evil things that actually violate your constitutional rights as an American, you maybe should be talking about, like, the beef industry. Or you want to talk about companies engaged in massive environmental destruction and cover-ups of such, then go look at the oil industry. Look, I'm not, like, an anti-beef person, nor am I an anti-oil person. I'm just saying the hatred towards EA and this idea that they are somehow the worst company in the United States looks really silly in contrast to the reality of some of these other mega corporations or industries that are doing genuinely horrible things. You know, I don't know, when is the last time EA sent someone to jail? It's like, doesn't, no.
But it is true. The type of customer is they're online savvy, and generally speaking, negative. The people with negative feelings shout the loudest.
This is correct.
Much louder than everyone else.
The vocal minority. You know.
It probably is off balanced somewhat.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I do hope that what we're doing with this project goes some way towards showing the world that EA can be engaged in a different type of production. You know, to see them licensed to an independent developer, piece of much loved IP, and then to have their support while we get that turned into a game and merchandise and whatnot. I think that'll open some people's eyes to the fact that they can do some good stuff. And that was part of the joke, the kind of tongue-in-cheek reference that I put into the presentation about the Make EA Great Again. Look, they don't need us to make them great, and I mean, it's a bit insulting to think that two guys sat in a room playing Alice badly would have any way to improve EA's standing in the world, but there is a joke in there.
One guy playing Alice badly.
You're partly responsible just by virtue of proximity. Don't think this isn't rubbing off on your reputation, Martin.
Is just watching you play this going to make me worse at God of War?
I thought you were finished with God of War.
Almost finished.
You've been almost finished.
There's
for
a
like
lot
almost
to do.
Yeah.
I'm doing the Valkyrie Queen now.
You're doing her.
I'm doing the Valkyrie Queen.
All right, Martin. This is a family broadcast here. We don't need to be talking about the women you're doing.
She's tough. She's a tough nut to crack.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, there's not much left to do now.
All right.
But it's a good time to be in and to ask to be able to do a single-player game.
Yes, because that's a proof that a single-player game can be really successful.
I sent you the article, a picture. God of War sold like 3.1 million
in 3 days.
In 3 days.
Yeah.
So that's going to be up at like 4 million by the time it's finished.
Yeah, it's a perfect proof that the single-player narrative-driven game is not dead, and that it can do really well. And that's normal. I mean, all this stuff is very cyclical. There was a peak for the multiplayer or single-player online, free-to-play games, and then that sort of people got tired of that. The other thing is, the people who are playing the games are constantly changing. This is one thing I think that oftentimes is not... I think this is one thing that oftentimes not taken into account when people do analysis of potential for game sales or for market trends. It's like, yeah, the hardware's changing, the distribution method is changing, but the thing is, your audience is also constantly changing. They're getting older, they're having kids, they're earning more money, they're finding other hobbies, and so you have to take into account the fact that the audience that wasn't interested in single-player narrative-driven games, or that the analysts have decided that audience was gone, a new audience will spring up, and they have never had the joy of a single-player narrative-driven game, and to have them then experience it for the first time through something like God of War, they're going to be thirsty for more.
Horizon. How many did... Anybody know how much Horizon Zero Dawn has sold now? Because that's been out a lot longer. I'm sure that's multiples of millions as well.
Yeah,
it's a good time to try to persuade EA of the virtues of single-player
I don't
games.
think they need to be persuaded. I mean, I think one of the reasons they came to us, in the first place, is they knew this was going to be a single-player game. And in fact, the conversation I had was their heads were in such a kind of has to be online, has to be multiplayer place for such a long time that they couldn't have the conversation internally about what to do with an Alice. When this conversation popped up, the guy specifically mentioned that, hey, now is a good time. There's kind of been a change of thinking internally, and so, make the pitch, and we'll make it happen.
Wow. As of February this year, 7.6 million copies of Horizon.
That's insane.
That is
7
insane.
million copies. And they're still doing content updates to that as well, right? You would imagine.
They did one a couple of months ago. I don't know if there's any others planned.
You would imagine with that number of sales that they might keep the content going.
I think so. I would like Brutal Legend 2. Yeah, I would. I like Brutal Legend in a nonsensy Jack Black kind of way.
Yeah,
It's good
that
fun.
that was a fun game.
Yeah. It's kind of broken though, because the archers were massively overpowered.
Right.
But still, great fun.
There you go. So we've just got to a point where there's a cave yelling at us. I'm not actually wearing my headphones today, so I have no idea what he's saying. I can just hear distant yelling. I assume it has something to do with...
Of the eye staff. Where
She
are the
has
others?
one piece of the eye staff.
Scattered throughout the world.
Sounds like somebody doing a Patrick Stewart impression.
It's Patrick Stewart. You didn't know? He had a cameo. That's why you're wearing that shirt today. Only the Jabberwock's eye staff can pry them
It troubles
open.
me that anonymous
Yeah,
oracles
there you go.
know more of my business than I do.
Someone's asking, why is it that when there's cinematic playing, we can only see the bottom? Well...
OBS.
OBS doesn't seem to like what's going on in the cinematics in this game, so...
Sorry.
But, fret not, because it is contest time.
Again?
Yeah, it's already been a half hour.
Wow, that went fast.
Time flies when you're having fun, Martin.
Really, that one actually did go fast.
Oh my god. Oh, geez, Rick. Now, I do want to say that before we continue on to a contest, you're going to have to sit through a commercial. Today's commercial is brought to you by our friends over at Freaky Fandoms Podcast.
Ooh, Freaky Fandoms.
That is the thing you see there above our heads. And the reason why we are, would you say, promoting their content is because they
are a huge sponsor of ours and have been for a while. They're very supportive.
This is true.
So yeah, we give them a shout out each time, let you guys know of their existence, see if you like what they're doing. Head on over. Give them a listen. It's a podcast for like sort of quirky cult type, usually movie type stuff.
Yeah, well, Deborah and Andrew, who are the two behind this, I've known for quite a while. They have been supporters of my Kickstarters and projects and whatnot now for years. I mean, 6, 7, 8, I don't know how many ever years. They've even come over to Shanghai to visit. I've gone over to see them. We met with them in Portland, Oregon on Yen and I's trip through up to the Pacific Northwest last year, driving trip. Anyway, they've always been incredibly supportive, and having spent time with them, I get that they're big lovers of culture, especially anything horror or dark or quirky. On our trip to Portland, they took us to a bookstore called, and now I've forgotten it, but anyway, it's supposed to be one of, if not the largest bookstore perhaps in the continental United States or something like that. But anyway, and they're just, pulling and grabbing all kinds of cultural reference stuff, and they really seem to get into that. And so that's what they've done with their podcast, is they're taking their immense knowledge of creators, writers, culture, films, music, books, and they're condensing that down into these weekly podcasts, which I find are incredibly interesting. Anyway, the short of this is they support us, so if you want to support us, you could also do that by way of supporting them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
It's sportception.
Concise, to the point. I like
Supportception. And then while we're here, we're going to do a little advertising for ourselves, and then we'll give away a Omega necklace. As I think most of you know, we do need your help to get awareness for Alice 3. You can do that by signing up for the mailing list or asking your friends who are interested in Alice to sign up for the mailing list. Do not sign up your dead grandmother or your angry aunt who hates video games.
Real email addresses and interest only, please.
Yes. And then you can follow along on social media, YouTube, the Twitter, the Facebook. I got shadow banned the other day on Twitter, but we'll talk about that later. And then also we've, of course, got the Patreon thing set up, so you can go become a Patreon. We are working on, I mean, you guys already know this because we've done it during the stream, but yeah, we're going to do this whole coin.
The next goal shall be a physical coin in a lovely box.
Exactly.
It's going to be ace.
So if you're interested in that, go over. You can be a patron for like just $1 a month. And then when the coin becomes available, and we're going to probably put that at like a minimum of $35, you could actually do the $35 for one month, and then you could F off and stop supporting us in that way. and you'd still get the coin, and
There you go.
everybody would be happy.
That's how you can hack our Patreon.
Martin and I'll sit back and like curse at you secretly, privately, but in terms of you getting a coin for minimum investment and also still supporting the new Alice, that would be a way to do that.
It would.
Last but not least, you can go over to Mysterious and you can buy t-shirts and crap like that. So speaking
All
of
sorts of crap.
there's stuff and stuff. Look, there's like what's in the products: art, prints, purses, clothing, wallets, accessories, games, and books. There's all kinds of stuff. But anyway, right now we're going to give away an Omega necklace.
Yeah, I think that's plenty of time for them to have chatted.
I
We roll it.
I hope that they've all chatted, because you have to have chatted in order to be eligible. But anyway, it has been quite a lot of time. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Ah,
That's
Greg.
Greg.
Have we sent something to Greg, or did Greg give his last winnings away to someone? I can't remember.
Somebody gave it away last week, didn't they?
Well,
Can't remember.
but also, Greg, if you'd prefer the
It says already won. Give it to someone else.
yeah,
Roll it again.
All right.
Well, I'm going to cross that out now to make.
Thanks,
ruined.
Greg. You're a good guy.
Greg is a good guy.
We love ya. Spooky Rabbit. You have.
That is a spooky rabbit.
It's all right. It says AKM on the side of its face there. Anyway, Spooky Rabbit, because Greg is a good guy, you've now won an Omega necklace, so you can say congrat to yourself. But you also need to PM me your email address and your phone number and your mailing address, and then we will send you a thing in the mail. There you go.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Now, where were we?
You going back?
Is there something else we need to do?
Talk about the Out of the Woods backer kit, perhaps.
Well, we'll do that with one more giveaway at the 11 o'clock, and that'll be the end of the thingy.
Go on then.
You want to give away something different this time? Like a chaos necklace?
Do we have some?
We do. We've got a bunch of them in the other room.
Somebody mentioned an inmate t-shirt. But, how would we do that?
That's very easy.
Is it?
Yeah, very, very easy.
Maybe.
Alright, well, you guys let us know in the chat if you'd prefer an inmate t-shirt or a chaos necklace for the next contest giveaway, which will be in a half hour. And then we will also do a little bit of Out of the Woods update.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Like 23 minutes left.
23 minutes for you guys to decide. Chaos necklace or t-shirt. Well, you could also just let the winner decide what they take. That also does work, you know.
I think so.
Yeah. This is a weird section of the game.
Because
Well, it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't really scream Wonderland. It's just a funky rock landscape.
but there's twinkly music.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the little chiny music, but there's nothing about it that feels particularly Wonderlandy to me, you know? It's just, yeah,
It's got Alice in it.
it's alright. I just feel like we could have done a little more by way of making it surreal and strange here.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh hum.
Ho-hum. So this came up, was the concept of remasters, and I mentioned it on my Facebook page. I do think, so we do actually have in hand the source, because we did remaster for this game when we did Madness Returns. And I do think as a part of our pitch for the license use, we want to suggest that we would remaster both this and Madness Returns and include those in the package and in the development. I think, you know, we've got the source for both of them now. It's not like it's going to be all new assets and super high res, but it would be pretty cool if you were able to play these two side by side with the new game, and then you could play them in order. Asylum to this to Madness Returns.
Didn't you say this was made with some weird tech? Some bizarre engine that only 4 people know about or something?
Well, but remember, we did do what you could call a remaster of this for the last go-around, but it was a compatibility remaster. It wasn't like all the assets and stuff got fixed up. So if you were going to go in and remaster it in terms of assets and things like that, then yeah, we would be probably having a bit of a problem. But if we're only talking about doing a platform compatibility type of thing, then it shouldn't be that big of an issue. And then when it comes to Madness Returns, we could probably do a little bit of up-resing and content improvement as well. So I feel a bit stuck.
Neko I16 asks, what's happening with the 3 for 35 art prints? Sorry about that. It's slower than we would have hoped. We were going to do it ourselves, but then another company sort of contacted us and said, hey, we're going to do this. You know, can we do it for you? So there's been a bit of setup that needed to be done, but it's almost done. Pretty much. So soon that company will be sending out a survey link, that's what they call it, I guess. And yeah, you'll be able to choose from one of the previous art prints if you are a 3 for 35 person.
Yeah.
Well, so yes, again, sorry it's taken so long. It hasn't been forgotten about.
That company is BackerKit.
Yes.
And BackerKit are who helped us, for instance, organize all the data for the most recent Kickstarter campaign. Actually, we've used BackerKit for all of our Kickstarter campaigns. And the benefit for us as creators when it comes to physical goods is that they make it so there's a kind of storefront that you go to, and then the storefront gives you the options for the art prints and whatever else you're going to get for that month, and then it spits out a nice list for us to take care of printing and signing and shipping. So the hope is that once this is all set up and running, it makes this whole process of Patreon rewards that much easier for everyone involved. But there is a bit of, because they've never done this before, and we've never done this obviously with them, because how could we, because they've never done it before. There is a bit of setup that's required in order to get there though. So I don't really know where to go.
You don't go under that bridge?
Oh, I came from under that bridge.
Did you?
What do you think about swimming in this stuff? This looks good. Oh yeah. Okay, just kidding. So where do we go?
Somebody said you were going the right way, but I don't know at what point they said that.
Okay, am I going the right way now? This feels like the way I should have been going, but once I got to the end here, it just sort of stopped. So I'm not
you
really...
go to the right, back there?
Into these trees. I tried that, and it didn't work. What are they saying in the chat there, Martin? Don't ignore the chat. That's our way out of
Nothing
here.
yet. Somebody asking if there will be an Alice 3 art book.
Yes.
For sure, there will be.
Yeah, we're going to do all kinds of Alice 3 stuff.
They've only just noticed you jumped in the lava. That's how far back they are.
Oh no! That's
so
terrible.
Telling you if you're going the right way is going to be 30 seconds delayed.
Wow. Well, they could just do it in reference to the cave or the tunnel. Like, is the cave closer or further from the way I should be going? Look, that doesn't look like a good place to go.
No.
I'm assuming that's death. Look, this is what I'm saying. You are, by virtue of sitting here next to me while I'm horrible and lost, you're also not helping, and that means that you're just as horrible and lost as I am.
I wasn't watching where you came from.
It does.
So you came from under that bridge.
Yes, I
you came this
here.
way.
Yes.
Well, maybe you have to backtrack.
Well, that would be dumb. That's almost like the person who designed this game is annoying and dumb.
All right, then let's assume that you don't have to backtrack.
Well, you're probably right. I probably do have to backtrack. But maybe not this far.
Go back under the bridge.
Oh,
Angel
geez.
of Misery covers says.
Ah, jeez.
I was right. I've not even been watching the game. I already know what to do.
Hey, it's just.
Can you shrink?
No, there's none of that. But that is a hole in the ground you think you could go into, so. Yes, well, backtracking it was. I'm just not sure where we should be backtracking to. The
Pale. Somebody said Pale something earlier. Maybe they went that. So
right.
go to the Pale Realm.
The Pale Realm.
Did you guys run out of Hatter wallets?
What does that mean? We never had Hatter wallets. March Hare? We had March Hare wallets.
Jeff,
but
what do you mean?
But we did actually run out of, this week, we sold out of the Vorpal Purse, and we sold out of the March Hare's Tea Time wallet. So it made me realize that we have fallen behind on design and construction of new products for Mysterious when it comes to wallets and stuff like that. The last thing we did was the Chaos wallet.
Coin purse?
The coin purse. I think those are actually some of our best products to date, but not a lot of people seem to be picking them up just yet.
You know the
Sometimes those things
moves
move
must
very
play
slowly.
with
Look at that
wise
incredible
first.
jaw flap
Order
facial
in the midst
animation.
of chaos makes me woozy and disoriented.
It was probably amazing at the time.
Predatory menace of certain pieces.
Well, the thing that was amazing was the level of detail and the texturing you could put on an animated character like that. This compared to, games that had just come out like a year or two prior, in terms of visual density, was pretty impressive. It still holds up all right, but I think that's more a testament to the generally low resolution of our eyeballs and how excellent our brains are at filling in the details than it is a testament to the quality of the visuals in the game.
Oh, still pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, if you go back and look at Doom or Quake, it's literally like pixel mud madness. It's incredible that you could have interpreted much inside of those games, and yet there's a lot of information.
It's like a
brain...
game jam game.
What's that?
Pixel mud madness.
Pixel mud madness. That'd be a good one. See, this is really unnecessary. You can hit me, but I can't hit you. I think that's another one of those game rule breakers.
What's going on in chat? Did Jack reply? Yes, hair wallets.
Yeah, those are sold out. They're gone.
Sorry.
As of this week, we sold the last one. Actually, we sold one that didn't exist, and I had to refund that person their money.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that wasn't good. Now, I think that as levels go, we're about to get into one of the sections of this game that was up high on the list for me, just in terms of level design and layout. I thought this was a very cool use of the engine. This felt very 3D, very Escher-like. And I really liked the kind of difference in the use of scale of the assets, like the little blocks.
Right.
I want to see more stuff like this. In this game, I would have liked to have seen more stuff like this.
Right. It would be possible to overdo it somewhat and become too confusing, I think.
Yeah, but my point is, this is a sort of, we're getting into one of those zones. This is the type of stuff that I really like to see in Madness Returns. I mean, in Asylum, and I did try to get some of this into Madness Returns. This is a sort of like level floating in space, and you can see the skybox down below. That's not a place that you should go, but it gives you a sense of the space around you being like within its own little small volume. And I've always been a really big fan of that kind of representation of spaces inside of games. Ooh.
They
won't be able to see this.
It's a black and
it's
white
amazing.
montage.
This is that part that we had Steven Spielberg direct, and it's in like 4K. This is the first game ever to have 4K video in game. It's incredible.
It's finished now.
It's finished now. Well, we couldn't afford Spielberg for very long. That right there was like $1 million for that 5 seconds.
Why is McGee so bad at this game? Because it's McGee.
I don't know. I'm actually I think. Ooh, I've activated the sex sound.
What is that?
It's her doing her jump sound. She was stuck on the jump sound.
She's turned into a bishop.
Yeah. So the answer to the question about why is McGee so bad at this game, I think that I'm not terribly good at games, actually. That's for sure. But it's like kind of particular types of games that I'm good at, and I don't know. I think my brain, I tend to be very. Despite the design of the games, I actually tend to be very expectant of particular rules, like of guidance through a game, of sort of kind of hand-holding, or like I was saying, like you don't spawn someone in a place where they immediately die, or you try to signpost stuff a little bit better. It could have been that last part where I was lost had more to do with the fact that we didn't hear the voiceover, because I think that the dude in the cave that was yelling at us was basically telling us like what we had to do next, and then we didn't have our headphones on, so I blame that. But I would say that, and this is the same thing that happened when we were playing Madness Returns. There are a lot of places where there's kind of very severe violation of expectation of the rules going on, and I mean, I'm bad at games anyway, but I'm worse at games when that kind of violation of the expectations is happening, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think it's both those things.
Look at that sky.
Yeah, I think these sections of the game are really pretty. I really like this kind of stylized black and white, and then I love this kind of thing. Yeah. Like at the time when we made Alice, this was what I wanted. I wanted to make a game where we could show off our art in game in a way that, you know, game engines had been used to do sort of realistic stuff, but very few people had done artistic stuff. Don't I already have this weapon? See, this is a bit confusing. Why make a big deal out of presenting me with a weapon that I have in my hand? And why give that weapon more than once? This is a violation of, I think, one of the rules. You should celebrate the giving of a weapon, but you should lock the player into that celebration. You should force that on them, and then don't be handing that weapon out again. He's just a cool guy. He's just hanging out. But don't be handing that weapon out again unless the weapon is itself going to contain, say for instance, ammo, right? You know, it could be that it was a super high power weapon that you got early in the game, you only get to use once because there's only one bullet in it, and then later on you may find that weapon again as like a rocket launcher, say for instance, that comes with rockets in it. That wasn't what happened just there. That was just like, hey, we'll use this weapon as a piece of level art. It just doesn't feels wrong to me.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, just make the weapon. You have to pick it up the first time you see it, and then just don't make a big fuss about it again.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, there's a lot of that rule violation going on in this game, and I think in Madness Returns as well.
I guess these are things that kind of just evolve over time, though. I mean, back then it was still
unknown, and we didn't have that sort of strong sense that you should or shouldn't do certain things, you know. This looks like it could be quite painful.
Yes.
I better save. I saved right on top of it. I save again. Look, this guy's shooting lasers. I feel like I'm in a weird Star Trek episode. What's going on here?
Sure.
Red bishops. Dangerous red bishops.
Definitely.
Right, well, we're going to do a few more minutes of this. I'm going to save, and then we're going to do your Out of the Woods update. We're going to do one more giveaway, and then we're going to call it a day. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Did you guys figure out, are we giving away, we're just going to give them the choice.
Give them the choice.
They can choose
a chaos
necklace or a
inmate
shirt. It can just be any shirt, actually. Why does it have to be just not a hoodie? Those are really expensive. But a t-shirt is fine. I put a new t-shirt in the shop yesterday. Look! What is going on? Why are you giving me these cards again? I already have those cards. Weapons aren't level art.
The new Wolfie shirts.
Yes, I put that in the shop yesterday.
Okay. Is Jennifer still in the chat? She was. I saw her. Jennifer, are you still in the chat?
There's a lever. Pull the lever.
What happened?
About to find out in this cinematic that they can't see. Oh my god, nudity! Oh no! Don't do that to those children. Jesus Christ, who did this? Oh, that was awful.
Geez.
Oh god, okay. It was a good thing that they couldn't see that. That was just bizarre and horrible. I'm surprised this game ever got released. It should have had an AO rating because of that.
AO?
Adults only.
Is that what they called it over?
What did you call it?
I don't know, it's like cinema ratings, just 18.
Ye old not having it. The old wink porn games. You just called them 18 or over. Even when they included... Well, I mean, like, but that scene we just saw with those children and the sex thing happening, that would not be just an M-rated game. That would be adults only.
Okay.
That's considered, like, perverse and pornographic.
I'm trying to remember, like, cinema and game type ratings. There was a lot of fuss about that in the past. It's been a while since I've been in England.
Yeah. Well, all I know is that in the States, something like that, I mean, I don't even know how we got the game released. That was insane.
I saw comments from someone, I think it's scrolled past now. It's not just America only for if you win stuff. Worldwide.
Worldwide.
Don't care where you are. So, yeah.
Okay, Martin, are you going to do the Out of the Woods update? What were you saying before we're done
We're
here?
just going to talk about Out of the Woods and all of the stuff here that we could show off is still available on BackerKit.
Oh, I see.
So yes, Out of the Woods, our Kickstarter we did last year. We're very, very close to having everything done.
By the way, while Martin is talking, make sure you blah 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 in the chat, because that's how you become eligible for the next contest, in which we're going to give away your choice of Chaos Necklace or T-shirt. But you have to have been active in the chat in the last 5 minutes. Take it away, Martin.
Take it away. So yeah, although the Kickstarter is finished, the products still exist on the BackerKit shop. Just search Out of the Woods BackerKit. And there you will find, you can get everything from the game to, and we've actually had the illustrated books made now. This is the prototype, but we did tell the factory to start making them. So that's on the way. There's awesome
beautiful art
and stuff. There's a
You want to, like, there you go.
Ooh, there's Bluebeard.
Are you going to read some in a posh British accent?
No.
No? Come on, Martin.
So we got, where's some good pictures. Oh, the first one we ever had.
That is our first piece of art.
First piece of art, Rapunzel.
Rapunzel.
Yeah.
She's
So yes,
good.
illustrated book, 10 fairy tales and life lessons after each tale.
Don't stick your tongue in an electrical socket.
Yep.
That is definitely in the
Colouring the book, featuring the line art from
Yep.
all of the art that was in that. It's very hard to show on camera. Grr. So just head on over to BackerKit, Out of the Woods. So yeah, it's game, books, art prints, neoprene playing mats, not LULU.
Lulu is not included with the... Oh, we still need to increase the price on that.
Yeah.
Will you make a note of that?
Okay.
It's my fault. I keep forgetting to do it. I'm not just crap at my own game. I'm crap at my own business.
Increase mat price. There we go.
Those mats are really nice, though.
They
We
are.
should stick one here on the table, actually. That would be a better play surface than what we're using.
So there you go. Out of the Woods still exists as a thing. Go and see if you like the look of it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to pimp while we're here?
No.
Well, there's Omri's thing. Don't forget that. Omri Koresh's
Nerva.
Never. Anyway, he's got stuff over there. Alice figures and the art and the posters, and there's like collector certificates that he's done up. So go over to omrikoresh.com/auction. I think we'll put a link in the jigger below for that. I don't think I've done that yet, but
Okay.
we'll try to remember that. And then, yeah, it's about it. If you want to have more participation, access with the conversation going on in the design and the art and stuff like that, then head over to my Patreon page and sign up. And now we're gonna
soon there will be the Chaos Coin goal on Patreon, so
That is
look
right.
forward to that.
That is right. So we're gonna
Get
give
ready.
away your choice of. Speaking of chaos, this is a chaos necklace. These are done in I don't know, what is it? I don't know. I forget what the type of silver is, but anyway, they're silver necklaces. They're quite nice. If in a pinch, you could use them as throwing stars, but you know, don't put an eye out. Anyway, there's that, or you can choose a T-shirt. We've got all kinds of T-shirts over there under clothing. Yeah, this is the one I added yesterday. This
There it is.
the ladies' scoop neck wanna play T-shirt based on the wolf, and you could do a pink one. I heard that's called Millennial Pink. Did you know that?
Millennial Pink.
I don't know.
I already hate it.
I hate it too. It's entitled and it doesn't work hard enough or something like that. Anyway, so you could choose this shirt if you wanted to, or you could choose some of the other T-shirts that are available here on Mysterious. You cannot choose the $59 hoodie sweater, nor can you choose the $3,000 Romanelli Alice blazer. Though if you've got a spare $3,000, you want to buy that, go for it. I particularly like the Chaos T-shirts, and so yeah, there you go. We're gonna roll it now.
Rolling.
3, 2, 1. Rune the Mighty.
Rune the Mighty.
Rune the Mighty, you have won your choice of a T-shirt or Chaos necklace. You can go over to Mysterious and have a look, and then PM us your name, address, phone number, and your choice of those items, or a item from those items, either a t-shirt or a chaos necklace, and specify whether you want a big or small chaos necklace. And I think that's about it.
That is about it.
That brings us to the end of today's mighty broadcast.
Made it 2 hours.
We did. We will be back next week with more of me falling and dying and being crap at my own game. We should also have some new artwork from Joey. I think we'll also have some updates on Out of the Woods and all kinds of other fun stuff. So
yeah, the same stuff but different.
Yes, same but different.
Yeah.
So thank you all very much for joining us yet again, and for your support and love and kindness. You are all very much appreciated. We will see you again next week.
See you later.
Bye-bye. Where's that button?